Hello and welcome to another episode of DCU Daily. We are back today with a lot to talk about. And well, there's a lot. It's a Batman heavy episode, but then we're gonna get into Superman, and then we're gonna get into Henry Cavill, who used to be Superman, and we're gonna talk about the merits of him possibly returning to the DCU or just DC in general in a different role, maybe as Green Lantern. We'll get into that. So the order of events today is going to be the Batman. There's some news about that out there. The Penguin, which is about to start airing in a couple of weeks from now. It's getting to be September almost. We've got a ton of new information and some character posters from Joker Folie, Deux, which is also set to release literally a month, 2 months. I don't know if I'm doing the math correctly, but not too long from now. And Nicole Kidman had some comments about her time on Batman Forever, why she did the movie. It's probably not for the reasons that you think. We're going to dive into that as well. There's also a bit of news about Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. It's a new documentary that DC Studios is releasing in theaters, but there's a very specific theatrical release schedule. It's not quite a wide release, so it won't be everywhere. So we're going to get into where and when and how you can find that movie in a theater near you. And beyond that, we're gonna get into your comments, questions, fan theories. To do that, as always, and lots more, we've got with us today, John. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. About to get into a whole bunch of news. So let's get right the hell into it. Let's go. Let's as Deadpool and Wolverine would say, let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go. Yeah. Yep, let's do it. So, okay, so we're gonna start off with the Batman. Now, we still don't have any updates as to whether Matt Reeves has or hasn't finished the script for the Batman Part 2. So while we don't know anything about the sequel, what we do know is that the Batman from 2022, as of today, and only for today, that is August 28th, if you're watching this live, and if you're not, then sorry, you missed it. But August 28th is the day when the Batman is back in a movie theater near you. I think it's playing in Dolby. Like if you go to an AMC, there's a Dolby Cinema like specific format. It's better quality screen. It's sort of like IMAX, except in terms of visual quality and sound, but it's a smaller screen. It's not like a huge IMAX screen. So if you have an AMC near you and they have a Dolby Cinema theater, then you can go watch it there. If you haven't already, because it's pretty late in the day on the East Coast here in the U.S., but maybe you're on the West Coast and you got some times left in the day, maybe some more showings you can go check out. Did you go do it? Let us know in the comments. If you did not, then you may still have an opportunity to go see this movie back in a theater near you. I just remember when I watched this movie, and to this day, I have a pretty good home theater system with like a big TV on the wall and everything. I like to turn off the lights, sit back on my home theater chair, and then just put on the Batman. And sometimes I'll do it simply to skip to the part where the Batmobile is revving up before the whole car chase sequence, and just watch that sequence because I'm like, okay, it looked very cinematic. It sounded really good. It's like if you were just want to immerse yourself in some Batman action for a bit. And the whole third act of the movie was pretty, action packed, and it was done in a way that was different from any other Batman movie that we have seen up until then. So, and that's saying a lot considering how many Batman movies have been out there. John, I have a question for you. Do you think, especially considering that this movie, if you were to go watch the Batman back in a movie theater near you today, you would have gotten an exclusive sneak peek at the Penguin. Is it worth the ticket price, cost to go back in theaters to watch a movie that's now like 2.5 years old?
I mean, I guess it's like kind of nice if we're getting the Penguin. It's like, okay. Um uh, Money wise, I don't know about that because you know how the economy is. People are not going to the movies as much. I mean, that's kind of been iffy since the pandemic, even with stuff like Barbenheimer and Top Gun Maverick, as well as Super Mario Brothers and all that. Um, but I would say like people who are like that into the Batman, I would say yeah, go watch it. I mean, there's probably a like one or two showtime for the East Coast people, but maybe still a couple more for West Coast people. But yeah, I think if you're really that excited for the Batman and you really want to be like, you know what, I want to want that sneak peek. I want to, remember like what happened in the Batman and I want that cinematic experience. I would say, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think
And
it's
then
it's
you can also eat out of your Batman popcorn bucket. Manola Rivera did state that they got their Batman popcorn bucket, but gonna sell fast. Let's see if I can go tomorrow to see if I can get one. Probably not, but a man can dream, right? So yeah, we'll try to get that, Batman popcorn bucket. But if we can't, we apologize in advance, because they're already probably like, like seven. There's like probably already ones on eBay that are like $7,000 or something like that, something ridiculous. But yeah, they also have like a Batmobile cup apparently. Yeah, so you could.
Oh, that yeah.
Yeah,
By the way, I just saw a question from Hunter Iggy come in, which is on screen. Yes, Hunter, we just saw this. So there is. I mean, let the speculation begin. Are we gonna get the black Superman suit in the
probably not.
Superman movie?
It
Is he
just
going
looks
to?
cool.
It need. It just. I mean, okay. I'm just kidding.
I don't mean to shit on your
it's-
parade, but it's like it probably just
I'm-
looks cool. Like, do you really think they're gonna do that so
No.
soon
I don't.
after Justice League?
Yeah.
Even though it didn't make any sense why he wore that in the movie. I know comic nerds are gonna be like, yeah, but he wore it in the fucking Death and Return of Superman comic. Yeah, because it made sense why he wore it there. It makes no sense. He just put it on because it looks cool. Because Zack Snyder doesn't like colors. He likes black and white and silver and stuff like that. So yeah, fun times. But it just looks cool. It looks cool. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care if I piss in your
I'm
mouth.
just-
I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna
Dude,
shit on your parade.
It's completely fair. It's completely fair. And you know what? It's fine. I'm not offended by it.
That's fine.
As far as
I'm fine. I'm fine.
But the Batman is back in a movie theater near you today and today only. If you haven't gone to see it, we highly recommend. I highly recommend you go see it. John isn't as big of a fan of the movie, but
I would
it was just a
say,
great
it's
theatrical
an
experience.
IMAX cinematic experience. I would say, yeah, fuck it, do it.
Absolutely. So, with that said, let's go on to our next story. We have the Penguin. There's a new look at Colin Farrell and Rhenzy Feliz in the show. They've been ramping up the promotion for the show because it's literally going to be here in like 2.5 weeks time. I believe it comes out on a Thursday, if I'm correct. Right,
Mhm.
September 19th is a Thursday. So
Yes.
it's 2 weeks from tomorrow. My days might be wrong, but we are basically within a month of this show coming out. So, actually, no, it's 3 weeks from tomorrow. 3 weeks from tomorrow, it's coming out. A little off on the math, but that's okay. So there's a new look here at Colin Farrell. This to me. Do you remember? Like, I believe we might have these photos loaded up. Let me see if I can find them. But do you remember we got like these behind the scenes photos from the Penguin when they were filming it like a long time ago? And we sort of went over them during the show. And since then, of course, we have gone multiple trailers and behind the scenes looks. But if you remember this right here, we had these photos. They were like some of the paparazzi photos, some behind the scenes official photos, and you could see that he's there on a set. I mean, it looks like there's debris from an explosion or something, and he's a little out of sorts. I want to say that
there was an explosion in the trailer, I believe, so that might also
there
be
was.
Yeah.
Right, and so it could be that. But I'm thinking like the image that we have got today, it looks kind of similar in nature to that. I mean, it looks like he's in a junkyard for the most part, but it could also be that it's the same kind of set that what we got those pictures from back in the day. What do you think about, again, this look at Oswald Cobblepot? Because he's gonna get his hands dirty here. He's not gonna he's gonna have to like basically pull the how is to say? I'm running short on words here. Nobody's gonna give him the power that he wants, right? Like these
you gotta fight
Falconian
for it.
Ronies, like he's gonna fight for it. He's gonna have to get his hands
what it
dirty,
always
roll up his
is,
sleeves, and of course it's not just Colin Farrell. You've also got Rhenzy Feliz. Is that I don't remember what his character name is. Do you remember what his character name is?
I don't think they've revealed it so far. I mean,
yeah.
Look it up.
Because I remember in the first trailer for this show, they had, which you hated and I loved because it kind of gave us
Victor Aguilar,
yeah.
Okay.
Because remember in that first trailer, for for the Penguin. I mean, it looks like he's gonna play a big role in the show. And in that first trailer, we don't know who Oswald is talking to, but he's telling this whoever he is talking to, saying, "Hey, there was this gangster in my neighborhood growing up. You know, like this." No, he didn't say that. He was like this some dude who was basically a mobster of some kind who helped out the little guy, and like there was a legacy, like he retells the story, basically saying, in essence, saying, I aspire to be that guy. I want to remember. I have to have a legacy. I wonder if he's talking to him in that scene. And the more that we hear about the show, I mean, obviously you got Sofia Falcone, her character is going to be a big part of the show, but it seems to me more and more like this character is going to be a big part of the show. What are your thoughts on again these inside looks, and again just getting to see more
Yeah,
of Rhenzy
looking
Feliz?
good. Like, I mean, I know he was, from what I heard, he was good on the Runaways, which was, the other major, superhero show, that superhero thing that he did. So, it's good for him that he's moving up, going, to the other side, I guess. Um, but yeah, it looks good, and I'm excited for it. Genuine. I know I wasn't initially excited, but now I'm excited. Definitely.
It's a good point. Well, okay. So to me, the biggest thing about these pictures is that it's really giving us more of the idea that this world looks the same as the Batman. Because I think that one of the things that we were worried about is this gonna feel like a TV show, like a Batman show without Batman in it? And I think the more we get a look at the show and the behind the scenes looks and everything, it's starting to look more like, you know what, this is literally a world of the Batman, regardless of whether Robert Pattinson shows up or not. But okay, so the other thing that came out today was episode titles and runtimes. So I want your thoughts on this. Like, what did you think about the episode titles so far, and then also the runtimes of these? Because these are not 40-minute Disney, plus episodes. These are 50, 56-minute, hour-long episodes.
Hmm. I don't know. It's certainly, there's a bit of maybe there's a bit of that Martin Scorsese influence. I mean, the first episode is named After Hours. Um, that could possibly mean something, and then I think it would be really cool. I mean, I know this is only like half the season, but I think obviously I feel like, okay, so I feel like episode 2 is going to be about him going to Moroni because he was the informant um that like sold off the Moroni family, I believe. Um so I assume that Oz goes to see him, and that's why, everything that's why, there's like a whole bunch of this stuff happening that I think it happened like years before the Batman, but so that's what I assume the second episode is about. First episode, After Hours, I mean, it probably just means like it's after, after everything that has happened, and it's After Hours. And then Sent Ani, I assume that means an anniversary, 100th anniversary. I assume that's in Latin. So it's been 100 years since something, so that'll mean Bliss is very generic. So maybe it's like I wouldn't say a filler album, but maybe like a calmer episode. Like it's more calm than like After Hours is like Batman. It's right out the gate. The fucking Gotham is flooded. It looks like shit. Blah 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 blah. Boom. There we go. And then the next episode, it's about like Penguin meeting Moroni, and like he's figuring out information, what his next move is, how to get power, all that shit. Bliss is then okay. Let's calm down a bit, and then we go into like 100th anniversary, whatever that means. So that's what I assume. And I like how it's like full hours, because I mean, HBO usually takes advantage of like full hour stuff. Like they like obviously like they have like 45 minutes, like because that has commercials, but this is like you have a full hour for episode 1, then like almost an hour for all the other episodes. So yeah, I think that sorry. I think that's pretty awesome. but yeah, I know people are like, oh, but what happened to why'd you hit? Like, I will say I was more and more impressed. I'm not gonna say like, oh my god, I'm like so excited ever because I was still upset by the Batman a little bit. I wouldn't say it's bad. I just was like, I wish it could have been better. So I don't want to be like super duper like, oh my god, I'm so fucking into this. Let's go. I'm excited. I'm like, okay, let's see what you have in mind. You are muted, sir.
Oh, I am muted. Sorry. My audio went missing there. I was gonna ask you though. These are only the first 4 episodes, right? Like, so aren't there like are we missing something? Like, aren't there like 8 episodes of this thing? Or did
Yes.
I?
So it's only 4 so far. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, look, I like the fact that the debut episode is an hour 7 minutes. Recently, I was watching, no, I was rewatching the Newsroom on HBO, which is a show that ran for 3 seasons back in the 2010s. Really great show if you want to, get into something, of what the behind the scenes of producing a news show looks like. And I was just watching the first episode was like an hour 13, packed to the brim with content and just it's
Hmm.
HBO, right? There's no commercials. So when they say it's an hour 7, it's an hour 7. And when they say it's 56 minutes, it's 56 minutes. And HBO doesn't play around with the idea of, hey, we're gonna have an episode where you're gonna get a, I don't know, like a 5 minute intro and a 5 minute credits, 10 minute credit sequence. So all you're really getting is 30 minutes of TV. This is going to be probably like a 56 minutes inside man. You're probably getting 50 minutes of content, 50 minutes of story, 55 minutes of story, so stuff like that, where
Hmm.
we're gonna get like several, like almost a trilogy's worth of runtime if you put all the 8 episodes together,
Or like
and considering they're
2 whole or just seeing the Batman twice in a row. You know, it's
yeah, that's one way to look at it. That is definitely one way to look at it. But hey, let us know in the comments, guys, what you think about that. We do have a lot more to get into, so let's keep the ball rolling here. We have a bunch of new Joker Folie Deux stuff coming out. They put out like a ton of new posters. We're gonna start out with one from Deadline. So Deadline is one of those Hollywood trader in trades magazines.
Mhm,
Um, and it's got like the Hollywood Reporter, Variety. So Deadline uh, got this poster that they put out, and you could see, of course, you got Harley right there, and you got Joaquin Phoenix, there's Joker on
mhm.
the left, Arthur Fleck. What do you think about just again the look of Harley Quinn? Because remember, Todd Phillips did an interview with Variety, I believe it was recently, where he talked about like, hey, we're going to strip like this character of Harley Quinn of all the stuff that we know her from, like the animated series or what we got from the Margot Robbie stuff, where like it's going to be in essence just this character who's mentally disturbed in some way, and we're gonna strip away the hammer, all the cost, the fancy costume, and we're gonna lean into something that is a little more darker in essence. And you again getting to see more of that here. And if you go by the trailer, she's clearly a fan of Arthur Fleck's Joker.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts again on just getting another look at Lady Gaga's
More
Harley?
looks, more, getting people excited, hopefully, because as we've said, like, people are like, "Oh, it's a musical, I don't wanna see it," and then Todd Phillips kinda trying to backpedal, like, "No, sir, it's not a musical, he just sings his thoughts sometimes." I'm like, "Buddy, that's a musical." And so, I want this to do well, because it has a lot of interesting ideas, and it feels like it's gonna be more in line with the Joker as a character, um, because I feel like it's gonna be more just out there, surreal, and I really like that. Not saying anything bad about the first one. The first one's a great movie. I mean, it still follows like the idea of like that was set up in The Killing Joke. Um, Even though that wasn't canon, and then it became canon, and then it wasn't canon again. So it's a whole thing. Uh, but I think like there's a lot of things in the trailer that gets me excited for this, where it's just like it's going for like it's like a whole dream, it's a delusion. I mean, that's what the title's all about. So I think it's doing a lot that I like with Joker. Like that it's kind of what I wanted with the first one. I don't know if this is gonna. It could be worse, could be better. I don't know. I have a strong feeling it might even be better because we're getting more of a strangeness to it. Like it fits more. Like I don't know. I guess just trying to say like it's more Joker. You know, it's like more of that idea of like the mentally disturbed sort of aspect to him rather than what he was in the first movie. And I know Todd Phillips did say that he's not the real Joker. This is an Elseworld story. This is a he's not like a criminal mastermind, which yeah, you could tell by like looking at him. He's nothing like that. So I think like I like the idea of, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before, is the Joker not the Joker like really being that foil to Batman. Like Batman, it has been said in comics, it has been said in movies that the Batman is something more. He's a symbol, and like anybody could be Batman. Like I know people, I know, uh, because he was literally you. Kidding. Um, I just think okay, so what I'm trying to say is like I know people make fun of the fact like, oh, obviously it's Batman. Like, no, nobody else can be Batman because you have to be like a fucking billionaire. That's not the point. The point is like anybody can make a difference in their actions and what they do sometimes to like go, outside of the law in a way. Um, I know that's, a little off-putting maybe, but sometimes you got to do that. But then you have this Joker who, at least this version, who can become a symbol for evil, like um how like Batman is like the pursuance of good and the Joker's the pursuance of evil, and really bring home the idea of Heath Ledger's Joker towards the end, where he was like, we're destined to do this forever. And even though unfortunately we couldn't like get that aspect because of Heath Ledger's unfortunate passing, I feel like that means something in more of like a broad sense. I feel like whether unintentional or intentional, I feel like that's Todd Phillips be like, no matter what, there will always be a Joker and there will always be a Batman, no matter who it is. And it's sort of like they are like the dichotomy of good and evil. Like that's like the ultimate good and the ultimate evil, and like they will always exist. Like Joker right now is like this like martyr, this symbol for like almost like the poor and downtrodden sort of thing, but it's like sort of this like extreme, like fucked up way of like looking at life. So I feel like then you have like the balance, like again, like 20 years because Bruce is still a little kid. Like 20 years later, and maybe that sets up like that really, yeah, Gotham is terrible, but then like with Joker being the symbol, it just gets fucking worse. And then it becomes like so like crime and disease ridden that like when Batman comes into the picture, it just becomes that much better, and like showing the good, and then like it'll always like flip out. Kind of like Star Wars is another good example of like prequels versus the originals. Like the originals, you had light triumphing over the dark, and then but you had the prequels where it was dark triumphing over the light, and then you had like that
Yeah,
balance of like good and evil. So like I feel like that's maybe I'm looking way too much into it, but like that's how I like to view
it's
it. I like the idea of like
yeah,
Batman and the Joker being these ultimate symbols of good and evil. Kind of weird
it's
comparison.
a
It also reminds me of the Ninth Configuration and Exorcist 3 in a way, how
yeah.
those were always about like the pursuance of good and the like showcasing the ultimate side, deadly evil side of humanity. So like that as well. So I kind of like, I feel like that's what they're going for here. I think that's what they're
Yeah.
going for. I hope so, because that's a really good idea to explore here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then again, Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn sort of playing into that,
Yeah.
how it's sort of an example. She's, by virtue of being his biggest fan, she's also the biggest reflection of his impact on Gotham, and what he has
Yeah.
done. and what's
Like
good
almost like the
or the bad.
audience surrogate, weirdly in a
Audience is
way.
surrogate, exactly. It's
Maybe
sort of
like yeah.
it's in meta in a way where I'm almost like, you look at the reaction to the first movie. I'm not saying everybody took the movie's themes literally, but there were certain people out there who did. And it's almost like this is uh that incarnate in the movie.
Mhm.
And you can kind of see it. Plus it, we now also know a little bit more about the release, the tickets. Actually, not the release, we know it's coming out on October 4th, but the pre-sale for this movie is going to be September 4th, which is exactly a month before the movie comes out. And it's
Mhm.
the same day that it premieres at the Venice Film Festival. So we know that the Telluride Film Festival is going on right now, but Venice announced their lineup, and they're going to be going on that weekend, I believe. So September 4th, guys. September 4th is literally coming up not too long from now. September 4th is next week, 1 week from today. So you can go out there and you can get your tickets to Joker Folie Do. And I have a feeling they might start releasing some more promos. So we might get some more inside looks at the movie. And when we do, we will bring that to you.
Yep.
I'm excited for that. Now, you know what other movie I'm excited for, which is, up until a few months ago when James Gunn said that DC Studios acquired it, it wasn't even on most people's radars, and that is Superman. We talked about it at length, earlier in the week, and we have been covering this. And this is a Christopher Reeve documentary. It's produced by folks who have done some tremendous work before, and now they're taking those skills and brought them to the story of Superman. They played the trailer for this at CinemaCon earlier this year, and people were crying just watching the trailer. You told me yourself when you watched a trailer for this that you were just like, I don't know how long it's gonna be till I recover. And I'm like, hey, the same. When I watched the whole trailer, I myself was just blown away. I just kind of, again, talking about Christopher Reeve, the man, and what he did to raise awareness for his own, injuries, and then what he struggled with for the rest of his life after that incident, and using his platform for good beyond just being Superman on screen. Of course, he had many other roles in his career, but Superman is the one he's most known for. And they interview all of his kids in the movie, including Will Reeve, who's going to be cameoing in the new Superman movie. Now, this film has a unique release strategy because it's not going to be released worldwide, what you would call a wide release, so you can go see it in any movie theater anywhere. It's gonna be a little more limited, John. So can you tell us a little bit more about what we have on screen here, the dates, and of course the regions where it's coming out, and also the nature, because it is a limited release, but you
Yeah,
can
it's a
still go see
Fathom
it.
event. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're only getting like a day. I know in America we're getting it the 21st and the 25th, I believe. And then all these other days, like you have throughout like October, you have like a couple places in Europe, and then in Australia, and then in like Latin America, you have all throughout October, and then you have United Kingdom and Ireland. You have the British Isles with that, with no early November, nothing too crazy, but so for anybody overseas who wants to see it or who are in any of these countries, go have at it. Like I'm gonna try and see it. In the I'm gonna try and see it in theaters. I'm genuinely excited. Like I mean, obviously, if I can, I'll see it on Max, but I would like to see it in theaters because makes it all the more special, right? So
Yeah, I think this is the kind of experience you want to have in a movie theater. I have seen a few documentaries in a movie theater, and they do hit differently than when you're just watching it on your TV screen at home. And when you look at a movie like this, a documentary like this, it's shot so beautifully. All the interviews, and of course, they've got a lot of archival footage of young Christopher Reeve and him with his family, his wife, his kids. But I think it's worth a watch at least once on a movie theater if you can. See it near you. Chances are not everybody's going to have it available at a theater near them. So, then you can just wait until it comes out on streaming service and watch it on the biggest screen you can. But until, you get that opportunity, if you are able to see it in a movie theater, we recommend you go do that. Now, there's one other thing I wanted to share, which is that there are some reviews already out for this. Critics have had a chance to watch this, and from The Hollywood Reporter to Variety, Wrap, IndieWire. There's some great, reviews already saying it's a powerful story of human endurance, a moving, wrenching, compellingly well-made documentary. It was easily my big festival cry, something that moves you so deeply. I mean, just the trailer alone, will capture your imagination and your heart
Mhm.
and your emotions. So I can only imagine when you get to see the whole movie what that feels like. John, is this something that you're definitely going to try to see? Have you done some research? Is there in a theater near you?
Yeah, I really want to. Whether it's the 21st or the 25th for, uh, for the good old U.S. people. Um, I will definitely try and see it. I want to. I want to badly. I'm not a big documentary person, but I feel like this is something that's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hey, if you guys missed our trailer reaction, we talked about it was yesterday or the day before. I'm forgetting if it was Monday. I think we did it on Monday, right? We were discussing the reaction to the trailer that was released, or either that or last week. But go back and check that out if you can. It's in the DCU Daily playlist on the channel. But right now, let's keep moving on to the next story. We still have so much to get through, including, of course, Henry Cavill's possible return to DC as Hal Jordan. That's going to be something that will, I'm sure, light up the chat and as well as put a smile on John's face. But before we get to Superman, oh, not Superman, formerly Superman, possibly Green Lantern, let's talk about Batman Forever, John. What are your thoughts? Are you a fan of Batman Forever? You like Val
Fucking love
Kilmer's
Batman
Batman,
Forever.
right?
Love it.
I know you're a big.
Hashtag release the Schumacher cut. Let's go. We almost got it. We were this close to greatness. We were this close and we didn't fucking get it. Fuck you, David Zaslav. Anyway.
So, okay, so Nicole Kidman was doing an interview recently, and she was asked about the Batman Forever, which isn't a movie that is looked upon kindly by a lot of people, despite what John's enthusiasm. I personally think it's a good movie. I think again, Val Kilmer captures the essence of Bruce Wayne in a way that maybe even Michael Keaton's Batman is iconic, but I don't think his Bruce Wayne is quite done as well as maybe what Val Kilmer did. I think what Val Kilmer crawls so that Christian Bale and Ben Affleck could walk and run maybe in terms of the Bruce Wayne side of the character, really getting the psyche of it. It's almost as if Timothy Dalton's James Bond crawled so that Daniel Craig's James Bond
I
could
don't know
walk
about
like that to
that.
me.
I would say
Well,
Timothy
okay,
Dalton's
I'm
probably
just
better than Daniel Craig, but that's just my opinion.
it's
I mean, I've heard from
yeah.
hardcore Bond fans who like, as in like super duper hardcore, they've read all the books, watched all the movies type of thing, that he is the most accurate portrayal of the character on screen. So do with that as you will. Just saying, that's all. But Daniel Craig is also great. They're both great. There hasn't been a bad Bond. I genuinely believe that. Not even George Lazenby is bad. I don't think maybe 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 a James Bond in that shitty Casino Royale movie from '67. Maybe outside of that, no, nothing bad.
But that's not a canon
That
movie,
was
right?
not
Because that was
canonical because
that was not canonical. Yeah.
Harry Saltzman owned the rights to Casino Royale because in the '50s, Howard Hawks wanted to make a James Bond movie with Cary Grant in the lead role, but that never happened. So he just had the rights, and
Hmm.
so Eon Productions, who was created by the Broccolis, who
Yeah.
who made all the Bond movies, um, then could never get the rights until like much later, where Eon essentially paid the Fleming estate, like, hey, we have all the rights now. Here's some money, take it. So then they got the rights to
Yeah.
Casino
It was a
Royale.
whole thing. Which I think when Bond had his what was it 75th anniversary, maybe I think that was recently. There's a documentary that was put out that sort of explains some of that. I remember. I think it's on Amazon Prime. You guys can go watch it there. But yeah, Batman Forever. It was. I just wish Val Kilmer, who discussed it in his documentary, his short stint as Batman. Of course, Nicole Kidman was his love interest in the movie, and she recently was doing an interview and asked about like what was the reason, why you did Batman Forever? Was it because again the context here was I think the interviewer was implying it's not looked upon kindly. So did you do it because you really love the story and the character, or did you do it for maybe because of a good paycheck? And Nicole Kidman's response was, because I got to kiss Batman. The thing people don't understand is it's not about the check. Which to me, if I'm a wrestling fan, so to me it was just like it reminded me of Once Upon a Time when Rikishi ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin, and the next week on Monday Night Raw, he has to explain his actions in the ring, and he's like, "I did it for The Rock."
I did it for The Rock.
It's just my brain works in funny ways. But what do you think about Nicole Kidman's comments there that she did it because she got to kiss Batman, aka Val Kilmer, in that movie, not the paycheck? Obviously, Nicole Kidman in the prime of her career in the '90s, maybe even before she quite hit the peak of her time. I mean, some will say she's still at the peak of her time. If you go by the royalties she's collecting off that AMC commercial. But what are your thoughts on on both her character in the movie and then I guess her motivation behind taking on the role?
I mean, it's certainly better. Like, it gives me hope. Like, oh, she didn't actually do it for the money. Like, okay, that's nice to see. If she actually did it for more than a reason of just like, oh, give me the money. That I feel like that's what Marlon Brando did, and look how that turned out. So but yeah. So, but it's a little bit more. Even if she's kidding, even if she really does think, all right, I actually really did it for the check. I'm just lying. At least, like, if she's putting it out in the open, I'm like, I'll take it as gospel. Like, you actually took this seriously and wanted to do it. So I'm like, all right, I'll give you that. So sure, I'll take it.
Josh is like, Jim Carrey as the Riddler is entertaining. I'm like, you know what? I'll give that to you. I was surprised to see there were two Jim Carreys in that Sonic commercial. By the way, that was
Yeah, that was funny.
that commercial trailer, I should say, Sonic 3. I just made it sound like he was in the commercial for like Sonic, the place you go for drive-through. I don't know.
Honestly, I'm shocked they haven't fucking like done a collaboration. Like, that's an easy fucking thing, guys.
Right?
Just get like that would actually get people to go to Sonic.
Yeah.
Like, I like Sonic. Sonic is like it's fast food, but it's like one of the better ones. I will say they have baller milkshakes. The one that was closest to me, unfortunately, closed. But yeah, I will say I don't give a fuck. I like Sonic. It's not Wendy's, but like I'll take it over fucking McDonald's.
Every once in a while, if you want to get that, because they do sell you a unique experience. But anyway, that's getting back to Batman Forever. Caleb Richardson has a good point that I think Val Kilmer was a great Batman. It just the reception of Batman and Robin sort of bled over. Now I will say Batman and Robin came out after Batman Forever, so I wouldn't necessarily say it was that. Maybe it was Batman Returns. But it's weird, I think in hindsight people look back, oh yeah, that whole Batman was crazy, but
I think
the Robin character was introduced in Batman Forever, right?
I think what he means in hindsight, I think he's saying,
okay,
I think
in
the reception of after Batman and Robin came out, everyone lumps Batman Forever and Batman and Robin together, like, oh, they're both the terrible, goofy Batman. But Batman Forever is like, yeah, it does have Jim Carrey and it does have Tommy Lee Jones, who hated Jim Carrey, trying to one up Jim Carrey because he fucking was like, I don't know, I cannot. What did he say? Like, I cannot like fathom your buffoonery or something like that.
Yeah.
And so Tommy Lee Jones had been working in the industry for like 2.5 decades at that point. And then like Jim Carrey comes in like a year of like hits, and he's like, this fucking clown is really gonna have like one up on me. Get that the fuck out of here. So yeah, I think that's why he was like so like genuinely upset, which is like a little fair, but then that resulted in his Two-Face being just not good. I will say I didn't mind his Riddler. Wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. I mean, it was more Frank Gorshin impression than anything, which not the best. I mean, I'll say I honestly, between the two, I'd rather, I might rather have Jim Carrey over Paul Dano, because Paul Dano, at least, like, that just didn't feel like the Riddler to me. It just felt like the Zodiac Killer and the Mad Hatter mixed into one, and then they called him the Riddler. So I'll like, at this point, I'll be just like, fuck it, I'll take Frank Gorshin and Jim Carrey. Screw it.
It's just the dichotomy of the two. It's like they're totally in different movies. When you watch that movie, you're like, wait, like who's in what movie? Because Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones seems to be anyway. It's just the whole. It was such a weird mix, but again, I grew up on those movies, so I look back at them fondly myself. Um, we got we got lots of good comments here in the chat. So Ron, you've got a nice. Ron's like, I've got a hot take for you. Let's get that on the screen and get get into that a little bit because Caleb's I think Caleb, your hot take is not really a hot take, but Ron on the other hand is like Val Kilmer's Batman should have been Batman from where he started in '89. He was better than Michael Keaton. You know what? Honestly, even that is not a hot take because to me, like in hindsight, that should be obvious. Like really, because like if you go look at what Glenn Powell's up to nowadays, and he's coming off of his Top Gun Maverick fame, I'm like, Val Kilmer was coming off of Top Gun, and he should have just signed on for Batman. Maybe Batman was a little bit of an unknown property. Maybe it was because it was a Tim Burton movie that Tim Burton, cast who he did. But do you think Val Kilmer would have had a shot at the character if it wasn't a Tim Burton movie in 1989?
Maybe, because I know Keaton was added because Burton worked with him on Beetlejuice. So
Yeah.
I think that's definitely the case, I feel. I do genuinely believe. I remember a buddy of mine was talking about it and how he was saying that Val Kilmer is probably the most like accurate to the Bronze Age of Batman we've ever gotten, and that's definitely the thing is I haven't read a ton of like Bronze Age comics, unfortunately. So, but like I'll take his word for it because like honestly, I mean he knows a lot about the character, so yeah, I think that would have been really awesome to see because I think, but the problem is, I don't. It depends, like who would have directed it. Like I don't know if like Joel Schumacher would have been good at the time. I would have liked to seen. I don't think Joel Schumacher was a bad choice, but I don't think he was a great choice. I just think that would have been so. That would have been really cool to see Val Kilmer from the beginning because I know that there was like. I know that they were trying to get another version of Batman. I think Tom Mankiewicz had a script for it, which speaking of James Bond, he had a script hanger. I mean, he was trying to get it off for like late 70s, early 80s. He was trying to get the Batman done. He wanted like an all-star kind of cast. Like he wanted like David Niven for Alfred. He wanted William Holden for Commissioner,
Nice.
and Peter O'Toole for the Penguin. I think he wanted like, and then he wanted I think like David Bowie for the Joker or something like that, something ridiculous. Actually, that might have been one of the directors because I remember then they had like a bunch of directors like sign on, and then this was for the Batman. This was a totally different like movie than Batman '89 and the Batman we got in 2022. It was, like I think like Ivan Reitman was attached at one point, and he wanted Bill Murray for Batman because at that point the only Batman we got in the public zeitgeist was Adam West. So he wanted that, and then I think Joe Dante was attached at one point. He wanted what was it? He wanted John Lithgow as the Joker, and then I think there was another one. Yeah, somebody wanted David Bowie as the Joker at one point. I'm like, that would have been fucking awesome. But yeah, there was like a whole thing, and then like all these like legends started dying, and then they were like kept rewriting the script. I think Rupert Thorne was like the main villain at one point. I know Silver St. Cloud was the love interest at one point. Yeah, but this eventually died out, and then they brought Sam Hamm in and did the script for '89, and then which was like totally rewritten, and he's like, and then I mean, I remember I think it was like late into production because they had to like heavily rewrite they were rewriting the script constantly in '89. The fact that movie like was as popular as it did was like as beloved as it was is like crazy. And then but yeah, I remember I think it was Michael Keaton was like they were going up the bell tower in like that famous sequence, like he's going up the bell tower, and then he's like kept asking Tim Burton, he's like, what am I going towards? Because they didn't have anything, and he's like, what am I going to? I need like some motivation. And he's like, I don't know. He's like, just shut up and fucking keep walking. So it was like, oh my god, the fact that like that movie was finished, was made, finished, released, and beloved is like an anomaly to filmmaking, and you know how that is. But yeah, it just Val Kilmer would have been interesting at the beginning. I don't know who a good director would have been. Ivan Reitman or Joe Dante also would have been an interesting choice for
I think
become Batman 89. I don't know.
Evan
but-
Reitman would have been perfect for that time, coming off of the Ghostbusters franchise. I think he would have had the pedigree. He would have understood like how to treat something a little more fantastical in a way that the audience would receive it well. And you know, Val Kilmer would have been a good fit. Again, he was a rising star back in that time.
Yeah,
So,
but the thing is,
Nicole Kid, yeah,
yeah, but the problem is he was a big prima donna at the time. He was a big
was.
diva.
That's
Why, like, at the time, I think he went on to do what was it, the priest or the I think that's what it was. Val Kilmer went off to do another movie in 1997 because Joel Schumacher did say, he's like, if Val Kilmer comes back, I'm not doing another Batman movie, because he hated working with him that much because he was such an asshole on set, which, you know, that's understandable. But it's like, I love how, like, again, if nobody knows this story, it was so funny. Like, they didn't have their Batman yet. They were like, Joel Schumacher was confirmed to come back, and he was wondering how, like, and then he was like in a coffee shop and he saw he was reading a newspaper and it had an ad from Dusk Till Dawn, and he drew a Batman face on the Batman's cowl on George Clooney's face, and he's like, "We have our Batman," and that was it. That was the end of it. Boom, they have George Clooney's. I'm like, really? That's all it took? Like, all right, okay, yeah, sure.
Hey, that goes to show you how little care was put into that back in the day. Today, though, we're in a different world entirely. Batman is the cash cow that DC will not stop milking. But hey, Nicole Kidman, she did it for the kiss. She, not the paycheck, did it for the kiss. And as Rikishi said, I think Nicole Kidman would do it again. Because why not? We had Michael Keaton come back. Let's bring back Nicole Kidman. We'll do a Crisis in Infinite Earths crossover. We'll bring her back.
Okay, let's do it. And also, the movie I was talking about was The Saint, not The Priest.
The
Saint. It was loosely based on an older pulp character from it had like a radio show. It had a TV series with Roger Moore. We keep going back to James Bond. Jesus Christ. So
this just seems to be the theme here today.
It's everywhere. Yeah, so it was a TV show with Roger Moore, and like he was also in a bunch of Hollywood movies in like the 30s and 40s and 50s, and it was on a radio show. I think Vincent Price played him at one point. So yeah, it was like a whole character. So he did that. He went off to do that instead of Batman and Robin. Probably good that he did that. But you know what? George Clooney got a career out of it. I know he's a Nepo baby, but like he did get a career. He showed that he could be a leading man. So Batman and Robin, whether he liked it or not, fucking helped his career. So shut up, George Clooney.
But by the way, I don't know. Okay, so Lucario Trainer in the chat, he just mentioned Matt Reeves gave an update on the Batman 2. We were working away right now. Really excited. Just taking a short break to see the Bat Fun. Where is this comment coming from, by the way? Let us know in the chat, guys, because I haven't found this. Is this on like Twitter or like Threads or wherever? Did he say that? Because he might be just going to watch his movie back in a movie theater, because it's out in movie theaters today. You can go watch the Batman on a limited, just for one day only. So is he? I mean, the dude should just finish the damn script. No need for more breaks, my dude. Come on, it's been like 2.5 years. The movie's already been moved back by 1.5 years. Like, finish the damn script. But Kawabunga, that's a cool name. I really appreciate
honestly. That would be really funny. That would be like a whole new level of meta. Although, but it would be even funnier because I don't know what caused me to start reading about this, but I was looking up something about Rob Zombie, and I didn't realize Rob Zombie was in a bunch of James Gunn movies, like early stuff like Slither, Super, and then he also had a cameo in Guardians 2. And I'm like, get Rob Zombie to play Mr. Mixus. Like, that would be funny. It would be terrible, but it would be hilarious. So yeah, but I think James Gunn would be hilariously meta. Just like kind of bring in the vibe of it would like work. He kind of has like, I will say James Gunn, he kind of has like a weird voice anyway. So like it doesn't sound like that voice
True.
doesn't belong to that body sort of thing. And so like he has kind of a weird voice, and I think I would love to see him in like an orange and purple jumpsuit with a purple bowler hat. Yeah, I'd love to see that. Fuck it, James Gunn is Mr. McGill.
I'm all for it. And by the way, look how you're trying to confirm that this is Matt Reeves responding to a comment from a fan on social media. So it wasn't like he posted about it. He was just like, "Yeah, we're just working away at it, taking a short break." Although if you ask anybody else, they're like, Matt Reeves goes into a dungeon and works on this, and then he comes out 6 months later and tells us what he came up with. So I mean, I guess Matt Reeves came out of the dungeon, but the script is still not finished. With that said, let's move on to another DC property, something that it's a little more speculation than anything else, but I thought it was something, came up. We've been doing a lot of fan castings of late. We were talking about, Wonder Woman the last couple of weeks. Henry Cavill, he's somebody, well, of course, he's got a huge pedigree with DC, but he's someone that is moved on to other projects. Greener pastures, maybe not. Pardon the pun. But do you think that those greener pastures could involve coming back over to DC in a new role? Because they are looking for this 40-year-old legend of the Lanterns Corp. And if you look at the art for the character, I think he would fit the gruffy nature of what they're looking for. Do you think Henry Cavill could be the perfect Hal Jordan? I'll just put it to you simply. What do you think, John? Do you think he can?
I think so.
He can be our man. Can he be can he be in that HBO TV series that they're working on now?
I think so. I think he could sell it. I think he could definitely do it. I mean, he certainly got the acting chops. He's got the look. He's already has like the superhero bod. Just don't fucking dehydrate yourself, Henry. Jesus Christ. Stop killing yourself over a fucking movie. So anyway, so I think he could definitely do it. Like I think he definitely had like as Gus March Phillips, I think he kind of had the zanier nature of like a character, but like also like kind of more of that like douchebaggery a little bit, like a little bit of that thing that a little bit of that Hal Jordan needs to have. I think Henry Cavill could do it. I know like this would like everyone would hate it. It would be one thing like everyone who hated it because Snyder cultists would fucking hate it because it's like, oh, he gets fucking brought back as stupid Green Lantern, but not a Superman that's so fucking stupid. And then like you have all the other people like, well, Henry Cavill Superman sucked. He's a terrible actor. He's gonna suck as Hal Jordan too. So you have like both sides being like, this sucks. So I mean, I would love it. A lot of other people would love it, but like that's like I feel like the vast majority, I guess. But I would still love to see it. I think he could. I know somebody mentioned. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think that means anything. Yeah, he was wearing some Green Lantern stuff and like posed next to a picture. That doesn't mean anything. Just like fucking Kumail Nanjiani being with Peter Safran at the Olympic Games. Like that's doesn't mean anything. Maybe a little bit, but not as much. But yeah, I think they should bring in a new actor. Like I remember we mentioned, like John Krasinski and, he's like probably my biggest choice. But someone like him, I think like he could like do it because like, yeah, I know this is him wearing, the green tank top or whatever. But yeah, I would love someone like I know John Krasinski. Yeah, Anson Mount could do it. Although I think he's busy with Star Trek. I don't think he's gonna be work. I don't think he would work on two like cosmic themed TV shows at the same time. So I think. But yeah, I would love to see John David Washington. He would be excellent. As Jon Stewart. But yeah, I think there's a lot of. I mean, maybe even get an unknown. Although unlikely because he's older, so they would probably get an unknown for Jon Stewart rather than Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan, they would probably get someone who's very well known, but not like too well known where he would be too expensive. Like, I mean, I could see, John Krasinski. I think Chris Pine. I know he looks like 55 now because of his fucking Lebowski looking look. But like even then, I think he could do it. I think I think there's a lot of guys there. I know Jensen Ackles was a name for Hal Jordan as well because everyone fucking wants Hal Jordan or everyone wants fucking Jensen Ackles as fucking everybody. So Yeah, I think I can see a lot. I mean, I know Oliver Jackson Cohen was another one. But yeah, I think any of those guys could do a good job. I think Henry Cavill could do a good job. Like, would I don't know if he would come back. I think he just kind of wants to do his own thing. I know the Warhammer series that's been kind of in limbo. I know he's doing Highlander in January, and that's probably going to take a couple months, so it's probably not going to line up. And he's going to be in Scotland, so I don't think he would be available for filming. I don't know when that would be filming. I mean, that would probably be filming soon, so it would probably be unlikely in terms of filming dates. But even then, I would love to see it, but I don't think that's who they're going to go with. I think they're going to probably go with someone famous, not like I would say like B or C list levels, and then they're going to probably go for a relatively unknown name with
Yeah.
Jon Stewart. That makes like build them up because he's a rookie, he's a younger guy. They're probably going to build him up, but like get the big known name for Hal Jordan. So whoever that may be, I will welcome them with open arms because I know that no matter what, Tom King is going to ruin the show. I don't care what anybody says. No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, I just have to say Anson Mount could be a good fit.
Oh yeah, after Marvel,
like-
the shit fucks down the street, fucking ruin him. We're gonna treat him better than the shit fucks down the street. They're what they fucking did to him in Multiverse of Madness. Like they like this poor guy. Like he gets his own show. It sucks. It's canceled. He comes back. He gets immediately yeeted again. Like this poor guy. Like give him a big super. I think he was made for. I know. I don't know how Strange. I don't know if Strange. I mean, you're the bigger Star Trek guy, so you probably know better than me. But I don't know where Strange New Worlds is. I assume it's. I mean, it's been going on for for a couple seasons now, and I think they did get another season if I remember correctly. So it's unlikely.
No, it's been renewed. Yeah. No, there's definitely more seasons coming.
Yeah, so it's unlikely that he would be cast. I think they got to have someone who's like maybe doing not doing.
Well,
gotta find an actor who's not really doing anything. I know you can do like more than one thing, but like,
dude, it's not like these shows are filming 20 episodes where they're busy or.
Oh, I know, but like,
I'm
even
just
that,
saying, like,
I don't think he would want to do like more than one show. And he's like, he kind of has the DILF look a little bit. I don't think he wants. I think they want someone who's that age, but doesn't like look. He's got the gray. I know he can dye it, but still, I think he's going full in on the DILF look. So I don't think they would want that for Hal Jordan. Honestly, since he's the perfect age, yes. The perfect age, I would say Chris Pine or John Krasinski. I think either of those guys would be perfect. I mean, Chris Pine, for years, he was like, cast this guy as Green Lantern, but then he kind of aged out of it. But now they're looking for someone in their late 30s, early 40s, mainly early 40s, and Chris Pine is that age. So fuck it, do it. Like, he's now the perfect age for it. Again, just make this man, like, I know he was Steve Trevor, and he was great as Steve Trevor, but make him fucking Green Lantern, goddammit. Fuck it. I mean, Henry Cavill coming in playing Green Lantern is just as likely as Ryan Reynolds coming back to play Green Lantern. Like,
it's oh, Ron's got a good take here. Let's get this on screen. I think Ron is a good point. Okay. So he says I would be okay if Henry Cavill if Hal dies at the end of the Lanterns and John takes the mantle. That's a good question, because hold on. I know you know where I'm going with this, but because they're gonna be investigating a murder in the American Midwest, right, or the heartland of America, and I'm pretty sure that means that Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner's gonna bite the dust to kind of set up the inciting incident for why two Lanterns, a legend, and then a new recruit. Which could very much be. I feel like the pitch for this internally was let's do Men in Black but with lanterns, because they're intergalactic cops, right? Like, I mean, the story writes itself, and you've got the veteran dude, like basically Tommy Lee Jones, and then you've got the new recruit Will Smith, like it's except of course not those two actors in particular. So if Henry Cavill, because that would be the perfect way to bring him in. You set off a whole thing, and then people are gonna be like, oh my god. Henry Cavill's back in DC. Let me put his picture on screen while we're talking about him. Chris Pine would be a good pick, but like Henry Cavill's back. He's back in this franchise in the world of DC. It's gonna be amazing. And then you kill him off, and then people are like, "Oh my God, you killed this guy off!" And then they're like, "But we're gonna do a prequel movie, Henry Cavill as Hal Jordan, or the legendary Green Lantern, or whatever you want to call it, or Green Lantern, some I don't know. Like just come up with a name. Maybe there's a comic book story that works." And then you do a prequel movie where Henry Cavill returns, like from a time before, the time of the Lanterns TV show.
Just bring him back as fucking Parallax.
I'm just, why not? I mean, why not bring him back? I think that would work. I'm excited about that idea. Wait, did you say? Like somebody in the chat said John Krasinski, and Lenny's like, by the way, hi Lenny, thanks for joining us. It's late in the night for you, but. He's like, John Krasinski, are you on drug?
No, sir, I don't.
What do you think about John?
I don't take drugs.
No. What do you think about John Krasinski?
You're gonna hold me in contempt too? Well, there's a fucking surprise. All right. Yeah.
When will Nathan Fillion not die? I think Nathan Fillion's character dies in pretty much everything. I think that's his thing. He comes on and does these high-profile cameos, and then his character dies off, and
I think what was it? Ryan Reynolds died. What was it? Ryan Reynolds dies in every cameo he's ever done. Like I know he was in a bunch of other David Leitch movies, and he just immediately killed. I think that's what it was. I know that it was kind of like that. But yeah.
I don't know, Lenny, what you're trying to say. You're like, I can only get 50 characters per comment, couldn't possibly explain. So not John Krasinski then. Not John Krasinski. Okay. I mean, what is he up to these days? He just finished the Jack Ryan TV series. He's been directing the Quiet Place
franchise. Mr. Fantastic and Multiverse of Madness.
But he showed up on set for a day. I mean, the dude isn't. By the way,
I'm just saying he has some sort of superhero pedigree now. He was in the movie for 5 minutes, but that's something. So,
Okay,
I have actually never had an energy drink. I stay away from that fucking garbage.
I've had plenty in my life, but I moderate
because you don't fucking get.
I moderate. That's true. That's true. Please don't kill Guy Gardner. Please, Tom King. What do you think, John? Do you think that theory is actually going to come true?
Not. I don't want him to die. That's just such a. It would be a terrible decision, which would make sense for Tom King, but I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't, and whoever they get for, that would be a good. He would be a good Hal Jordan. Sam Claflin could be a good Hal Jordan.
You think so?
Boom. There you go.
Okay.
Mycroft Holmes.
Hey, look, I think Henry.
The only reason to watch the Enola Holmes movies, Henry Cavill as Sherlock Holmes.
It's a good point, but I by the way, Lex was in the chat earlier, and I just wanted to go to this real quick. She's been sending us some artwork that she's been working on, and she wanted to share that with us. So just briefly, she just kind of drew over the Superman suit. It's kind of nice. I like the idea here. A little more of a comic accurate Batman. And, I don't think Matt Reeves will go for it, but maybe James Gunn will. Flash? Who is meant to be the Flash here? I can't really tell. This is from the Arrowverse. That's Grant Gustin. You can tell she wants to have Anson Mount as Lantern.
Why does he why is he wearing his brown?
I don't know. I'm trying not to look at it.
Why does Jon Stewart look like Ben 10?
You know what? It's a different kind of design. It's a different kind of design, and then
I don't know who that is.
That's Chris. Is that Chris Pratt? No, who is that?
I have no idea.
Who that is. You're gonna have to let us know, Lex. Who is this?
It kind of looks like Sam Claflin. I wouldn't be shocked. He would be a good choice for a bunch of characters. Not gonna lie.
Oh, and more of a classic. Oh, really classic hot rod. Batmobile.
That's mixed in with the. I wouldn't mind the red tint a little bit,
harkening back. Yes, that's what I was gonna.
I don't think Matt Reeves would do that, but I would love to see it.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
And that's a very classic Superman logo. I know we're not getting that in the DCU, but it is a classic logo. you know, if they were to go with a more of a like a spin-off an Elseworld story, maybe that J.J. Abrams Superman movie is still in the works. Maybe
Oh,
we can
somebody
get that
gave a
Superman
super
movie.
chat. Chris Zostik, he said Aquafina as Wonder Woman. I will kill you where you stand, motherfucker. Don't even. I'm thanks for the money, but fuck you. Don't ever say that shit to me again. I will kill you where you stand. Get the fuck out of the chat.
Aquafina, I think, is that a troll? I don't know. But hey. You know, I can possibly see it, but don't you think she's busy with
Yes. Okay. Yeah,
she's
they said Sam Claflin as
okay.
Aquaman. So yeah, I think he could do a good Aquaman. I think he could do a good Helldragon. I think he could be a great Hawkman. Great Hawkman. He would be awesome as Hawkman. But I know. Get the fuck out of my face. Get the fuck out of my
Aquafina,
face.
dude, Aquafina is
Even if it's a
busy with
joke, get the fuck
Shang-Chi.
out of my face.
Aquafina is busy with the Shang-Chi movies, right? Because she's
Yeah,
gonna be in the
yeah, and they
sequel.
suck.
So I
Shit
imagine.
sucks. Get the fuck out of here. All right, Nora, shut the fuck up. Get out of here. This
Well,
are
sorry,
good.
Chris. I don't think
Fuck you,
yeah, I don't think
Chris.
you're gonna.
That's
Okay.
almost as bad as Tom King being attached to lanterns. Get out of here. Yes. I assume I already know who you're talking about. Yes, JJ, Jar Jar Abrams. Get him the fuck out of here, too.
Oh, Richard. Okay, Richard is asking about the. I think that was a picture of Anson Mount as Lex's artwork was definitely. Let me put that on screen here. So a little late. Was that a picture of Anson Mount maybe his Green Lantern? If it wasn't, boy, maybe it could be a crazy. Hey, yeah, Richard, you're a little late to the party. We've been talking about it.
He's kind of busy with. I don't think he wants to headline two different space-centered shows, though. I think he's just kind of off doing his own thing right now. So just leave him with Star Trek. Yeah. Although he needs, if he is Hal Jordan, to dye your fucking hair, man. Nobody wants to see a gray Hal Jordan. I know comic book people. Well, he had the fucking side in the fucking, in the 70s. It's like, okay, great. Don't give him like, I don't want him to have fucking DILF or even GILF energy. Like mostly brown hair, please. That would be fine. But I don't want full.
I think he can. He can do that. He was in those Marvel movies. He didn't have gray hair, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. JJ is knockoff Spielberg, but like not. He's the knockoff of a knockoff Spielberg. That's how bad he is. I'll fucking say it.
He can dye. Lenny is like, yeah, he can dye his hair. So yeah, I think so too. I think he can dye his hair. I personally think whether you go with Chris Pine, who I think in this shot in particular he just fits the bill, or you go with the Henry Cavill, which you wouldn't be going wrong. Or if you go with maybe what's the name of the actor in the middle there? That's a little less believable to me. I can't see that, but then again, I haven't seen him in a ton. So
well, he was Finnick in the Hunger Games movies.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, he definitely has that like cheeky charisma. I think he would maybe need to build a little bit more muscle, but I think he could do it. He's got the charm. He's got the kind of, because Finnick, like before he like fully becomes a good guy, he's kind of a snot nosed asshole a little bit. That kind of like energy, like, but he was like, eventually he like became like a full on, good guy, So, like, I think he had that like perfect. I can kind of see that for Hal Jordan, like that perfect like matrimony of like kind of like pompous dickhead, but like overall still a good hero. Yes, Parallax, how he initially just went evil, but then Jeff Johns retconned it so that Hal Jordan wasn't totally evil. Yeah.
But let me ask you this question: do you think Parallax is something that a character they're gonna get into this early in the Lanterns story, or in some respects they're picking up like Superman? We're not starting from his origin story. Could they just kind of pick up and Parallax is around and then work their way backwards down the road? Or do you think they should just wait to even touch upon that for maybe season 2 of Lanterns, or when they actually have a movie? Like, why get into that straight away? What are your thoughts on the idea of even having Parallax be anywhere near chapter 1?
That should be like a season 5 thing. Honestly, if the show survives that long, that should be like season 5 or 6 levels, or like another like Lantern related show or like a movie. That's because the thing is, I would like to see Kyle Rayner get some redemption. Like he hasn't been shown a lot, and I would like to see him. I mean, we're already getting 3 Lanterns now. That would be awesome. In terms of the 2 Lanterns, I would want to see is definitely Alan Scott and Kyle Rayner because I feel like they don't get a ton. Because like Alan Scott's weirder because he's like it was magic based. He was, he was the Golden Age one. So like, all right, sure, but Kyle Rayner, I feel like because Kyle Rayner is such an awkward character to introduce because you have to have Hal Jordan go crazy, become Parallax. And Emerald Twilight is already like a fucking wonky and dated storyline. And then you had like New Dawn, or you had the introducing women in the fridge type of shit. And then it's just like it's kind of awkward in terms of Kyle Rayner. Yes, I agree. So I think you would have to find it. Maybe you could just have him like be just introduced as any other Lantern, which kind of loses the specialness that Kyle Rayner had for a little bit. But even then, I still think that I don't know, like however they do it, I would like to see it. And then my Jessica Cruz is my favorite Lantern, so I would like to see her as well. Just not Simon Baz. Nobody gives a fuck about Simon Baz. He sucks. Like, who likes Simon Baz? Like, genuinely. Actually, you know what? That's a genuine question. In the chat, guys, do you like Simon Baz? Is Simon Baz your favorite Green Lantern? I would love to know. Anyway, Human Target could be good. However, he might be a little bit too good looking because the whole point of Human Target is that he's supposed to be like an everyman. He's like supposed to be like have like a very plain face so that he can like hide into a crowd. Captain Atom could be cool, but that's just Superman again, essentially. So, But anyway, Simon Baz, guys, let's see pump up those Simon Baz fans, all 3 of you. Let's go. Let's see where you are. I'm curious. But yeah, I
don't know if you're gonna find them here, John, but it's like they weren't gonna have him in that early iteration of the show, right? Before they retconned it completely. Started from scratch,
it was Alan Scott and Guy Gardner. Were the main ones. Finn Whitrock and then Jeremy something was gonna be the Alan Scott iteration. Adam Strange could be fun. Again, keep Tom King away from it, but I think that would be really fun. Like, you gotta go with full-on Silver Age vibes for Adam Strange. Like, that's what makes the character at best. Boom! There you go. That just answers my fucking question. Who's Simon Baz? Exactly. Josh, exactly. Who is Simon Baz? There you go. That's all you need to know about that Green Lantern. Nobody fucking likes. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sure there are people out there, but like, considering Simon Baz is kind of sort of an self-insert character from Jeff Johns, he just never caught on. And the fact that like he's a Green Lantern, has the most powerful weapon in the entire universe, and he still fucking carries a Glock. It's like, all right, that would be interesting. I don't know who Vincente Ignacio Romero. I don't know who that is, but Steve Buscemi as Sinestro might be a little bit too old, but I could see that working. That could be.
That's
cool.
his name, by the way. Sorry, that's
that's
Vicente in the chat. Yeah.
Oh wait.
Yeah. I think it's a.
Wait.
Yeah,
okay. That's his entire name. I thought he was like recommending like 7 different people.
No. It's a. I'm sorry. John is just catching on here. But thank you for commenting.
I thought he was like, it was like, I thought you like didn't put the username. It's like, oh yeah,
no. It's
Zariah. I'm like, who's that? I don't know if that's DC character, but yeah. No, he's not British. Get that the fuck out of here. No. I mean, Keanu Reeves can get away with it. All right, that's fine. But like, don't stick to like people from the British Isles as Constantine, please. Thank you.
Yeah. By the way, Richard has a good idea about the Parallax story. Let me see if he can. I don't know, John. You're more familiar with the character than I am, but Parallax storyline only works if Hal Jordan becomes like near and dear to our hearts.
Yes.
So you have to kind of build up the character first, essentially. You can't just be like he
You
shows
gotta
up,
build up
he's a
the character. It would,
legend.
you know what it would be like? It would be like if you did the death of Superman in his second appearance or something. Oh wait,
Oh, well, that was a very pointed comment. Are you hinting at something very specific right now?
maybe. I don't know. I'm not saying anything.
You know what? When I first saw that, I was like, yeah, it is a little too early. And then they're also introducing Wonder Woman, and then I'm like, there's like a whole third act fight sequence with Doomsday. There's too much going. There was a lot going on in that movie. They should have spread that out over at least 2 films. But Luke Evans would be a good Sinestro. I think it would work. It's just a matter of you can't just bring him in for one movie. You don't want to just have him be a one-off. You want to build up Sinestro. You want to have him be around for a while. I don't think they should do what they did with Sinestro. Even though Mark Strong did a great job playing him, I don't think they should do with him with that character what they did in the 2011 Lanterns movie. He deserves better, and it's because Sinestro is the type of character that can stick around and kind of develop over time. So, Richard Kilpatrick is like Cillian Murphy as Constantine. Wait, hold on. Where were we on that debate for the name? Is it Constantine? I
It's
forgot. We had
well, the American pronunciation is Constantine, but the fact that he's a British character and he did confirm that his name is pronounced Constantine because that's how it's pronounced in Europe. It's John Constantine. That is where we are. I could see Cillian Murphy as Constantine. That would be awesome. Not because somebody else recommended Hal Jordan and they said J.K. Morkatna. I don't know how to pronounce that, but he said they said Cillian Murphy as Hal Jordan, J.K. But Cillian Murphy as Constantine. I mean, if he brings in Thomas Shelby vibes, I can kind of see it. A little bit. Just get a different fucking haircut. That's all. But I think he could pull it off. Like, I know he's Mr. Oscar, part of Oscar winner now and all that shit. But like, you know what? It would be a funny choice if he like just won. I mean, that's what Robert Downey Jr. did. Bro won an Oscar and he's like, I'll come back to Marvel because I guess he needs another boat. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, he needs another super yacht like the one that recently sunk with the biggest mast. Anyway, whatever.
I will say, he needs to go to a better haircutters though. Like that haircut is wolf. But I think yes, I think Cillian Murphy could do it. For Constantine, not Hal Jordan, by the way. Constantine. I know we're not talking about Constantine, but that would be awesome. Yeah,
but
I would love to see
that's where the conversation started. Yes. Yeah.
And he's kind of like that perfect age because like Cillian Murphy, he's he's in his late 40s, early 50s. I feel like that's a good like age for Constantine, and even then he could pull off younger if need be. But I want to see an older Constantine. That's who I don't want to see someone like super young. I just feel like it doesn't work. So yeah, get someone, and he could pull off a smoker because he did in Oppenheimer. So you know what, hell with it. Let's go, do it. Cillian Murphy as Constantine. Not my favorite. I prefer Dan Stevens, but that's just me.
Dan Stevens would be an inspired pick. Dude, he would be an inspired pick for anything after what he did with Legion. He would be an inspired pick for, do it. Like, make it happen. What do you think? Yeah, this is a good idea. I mean, I think it's an interesting idea. By the way, Palm, I imagine you mean Palm Clementif as Dr. Light? Is that, can you, I don't know. Is that,
Palm Clementif as Dr. Light. Somebody, okay. I think the Watcher, he said that when we were talking about Guardian, somebody mentioned we were talking about like Chris Pratt, another Chris P, and other Guardians actors being in the DCU, and and I think the Watcher had a bunch of them. Yes, so thank you, Richard. But yeah, I think she could be a good Dr. Light. She's kind of like a weirder, not as well known character, but if they are bringing in that version of Dr. Light, then sure, why not? Hell with it. Let's go.
I mean, I don't think we're gonna get him. What kind of project would he be a part of though? Where does Dr. Light kind of fit? Is there anywhere for that character to fit in the?
Not really. She's kind of. I think she's a second iteration because the original character, I think Dr. Light is a bad guy, and then she was introduced and she was a good guy. I mean, if you want to bring in. Actually, she might be. Wait. Let me look it up first. Hang on. Hang on. She's part of Justice League International, and James Gunn has been teasing Justice League International. Boom, there you go. Perfect. Palm Clementif, Dr. Light. Dr. Light was in Justice League International. Let's go. Perfect. I don't see her.
It's a very out there connection, but I mean, hey, it could work. Could work, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of weird characters in Justice League International, so I think that would be cool. And
Yeah.
James Gunn has been like teasing that for forever. So, and he seems to be a huge fan. He's bringing in Maxwell Lord. He's bringing in these characters. The Maxwell Lord's logo looks like a J and an L and an I in the middle. So it seems like he's been teasing that for a while. So
that's a good point. That's a really good point.
I don't know who that is, but I'll trust you.
Yeah, who is Felix Mal?
Personally, I think Tyler Posey or Dylan O'Brien could be a good Kyle Rayner. My opinion.
Yes. Oh, dude, I think Dylan O'Brien. I think that's the pick. Dylan O'Brien, in my opinion, is the pick. It fits the description. It fits like the profile of actor they probably want to get. Somebody who can transition from a TV show to the movie if that's how they introduce him. I think that'd be a good pick. Condiment King in the DCU, Josh. I think we have talked about that before. Condiment King in the DCU could work.
Played by Adam Sandler.
Yes. But when he's not busy doing his Netflix movies and doing a Happy Madison sequel, then yes, bring him in. I think James Gunn would definitely bring in Condiment King. This right up his alley. It would work. It would very much work. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Is it Vicente? Is that how you, or Vince? How do you pronounce your name? He's expressing some concern about the Superman movie that I don't know if it's really valid or not, but I'm afraid that James Gunn Superman movie is going to throw a lot of superhero cameos just for laughs. This has come up before, but going off of everything we know about it, all the behind the scenes photos, I don't think that's the case. I think these characters have a place in the story, and we may have a couple of cameos, but those cameos are going to lead to something greater. Because, like, for example, they might tease the Supergirl movie with Supergirl cameo, but I don't know. I mean, do you think there's any cameos that we know about so far that are going to feel like, because even Guy Gardner, he's in there, but he's serving a purpose. Like, he's part of, like, Mr. Terrific. They're part of, whether it's the Terrifics or Justice League International.
I don't think he's going to have a lot of cameos, because James Gunn has spoken out against, like, a lot of cameos, like stuff like, No Way Home, and because like that quote was brought up again. I remember seeing like somebody brought this old quote James Gunn said like fucking like a year ago, where he was talking about I think No Way Home, where he was like, it's just cameo porn. That's what I like to call it. And a lot of people got on his case. Well, your fucking Superman movie has like 17 made characters. What are you talking about? Look, it has all these cameos. It's like, I just feel like, I mean, you made the argument. We've seen David Corenswet. We saw him every day, while a bunch of other actors, we didn't see them.
I mean, more so than anybody else. He was there every day, like pretty much. Like, I don't think that one day they were on the bridge, but like more than anybody else.
But yeah, I think they have a place. They have a that would be funny. Not gonna lie, that would be really funny. But I think I think that would be, I just think that's a dumbass argument. Like, because I know it's like, it just, I think Maxwell Lord will have like a really small role, because usually Sean Gunn has them in his movies, like they're not very big roles. Even Kraglin in Volume 3 didn't have a huge role. I mean, he was there, but it wasn't like huge or anything. So yeah, I think it'll be kind of like that, but it won't be crazy.
Lex is talking about drawing Carl Urban as General Zodiac. I think Carl Urban could be potential Green Lantern, like Hal Jordan as well.
Who's General Zodiac? Does he mean General Zod?
Maybe it's General Zod, but I bring that comment up to say I think Carl Urban could play Hal Jordan. What do you think?
I think he's too gritty for it. I mean, he does have the range, but I don't know. I just think I think he's just a little bit too. I don't know. Maybe I can only see Billy Butcher at this point. But by the way, somebody else said Chris Pratt as Animal Man. That would be fucking awesome. I would love to see Chris Pratt as Animal Man. That would I want to see that. That's the pick. That's the pick right there. Chris Pratt as Animal Man. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Oh my god, we've been going for almost 90 minutes. Jesus Christ. Well,
Yeah,
guys,
you guys have a lot of good. One quick one before we finish up, though. I wanted to ask, what do you guys? The Watcher has a good point because we were talking about Mike Flanagan the other day, yesterday, in fact, possibly joining the DCU. What do you think about him directing Dead Man?
Well, Dead Man's an animated venture, allegedly. So I don't know how he would do with animation. I don't think he's done animation. So I would say, like, if he's open to doing animation, I would say go for it. Let's do it, see how he does. That could be fun. I don't know how it would be like. I think that would be a good choice, but I don't know if he would make the jump to animation. We would see, but like, yeah, I think that could be a good choice. If live action, I don't know about animation because that's what it initially was rumored as. So,
Yeah. By the way, Lenny, I think great comment. The idea that, they're not leading off with like, a movie. I mean, obviously they are with Superman, but starting with Creature Commandos goes to show you that the focus is on storytelling, not just spectacle, which is I think again goes to show James Gunn is, taking the right steps here and they're building it up the right way. And Richard Kilpatrick, another comment, he whatever Gunn's vision is, I already trust every decision he made. He has a whole picture in his mind. We don't. That's true. He knows a lot more than we do. Speaking of which, do you think James Gunn has somebody in mind to play a live action Kite Man?
Matt Oberg. He voices him on the show. That's who I want to see.
Huh? Wait, say again? Sorry, John, I couldn't hear you. Did I lose you, John? I don't know if you're still here. But
yeah, I think so. I think it's good.
Yeah. Creature Commandos, I think is going to be a good show. If you go off the trailers, I think it's looking good so far. How it plays into everything else is what I'm concerned about. Bill Burr as Kite Man. That would be something.
That would be the fucking greatest and worst casting decision I have ever heard in my fucking life. You know who would be a great Kite Man? I think Mark Normand would be funny. Like, get a comedian, not Bill Burr. He's too old. He doesn't give a fuck about that sort of thing. Get like Mark Normand. He would be so fucking funny as Kite Man. That would, because like he kind of has like that kind of like mile a minute kind of mind where he just like is constantly spewing like one-liners, and he also just seems like so chill that I just, it's like he's like, I'm Kite Man, like here I am, like I use a kite, what are you talking about? Like he's just kind of like, he's like, yeah, whatever. He's kind of like a
it would be like, he shows up for like Halloween dressed as Kite Man and they just put him in front of the camera. Like that would be perfect.
Yeah, whatever. I'm Kite Man. What do you mean? Of course I am. Of course I'm Kite Man. What do you mean? It's Chuck Brown. Of course, Kite Man. I got E.L. O'Brien on my team. What are you talking about? Like, I know I'm like sound like I'm doing a Seinfeld. I'm not. I'm doing a Mark Normand impression. I swear. If you know Mark Normand, you know I'm doing a good impression. Shut up. Anyway, but yeah, Steve Martin is Kite Man, too old. He's doing Only Murders in the Building. He's doing his own thing.
Which, by the way, it just started its new season.
Just started.
The first episode was great.
Season
4. Yeah, the first episode was great.
Yeah, played by Mark Normand. That would be perfect.
Josh knows who he's talking to here because this is right up John's alley.
Hell yeah.
We did. Hell yeah, exactly. We're going to be reviewing the next episode tomorrow, so tune in tomorrow. But then, was it episode 8 or 9? Where are we up to? Episode 8? Episode 8 of Kite Man. We're going to review that. Richard says Carl Urban as Slade Wilson.
Perfect. Although I want to see Joe Manganiello again because he never got a chance.
Yeah.
And I think that was like pitch perfect casting. So
yeah.
I would like to see him again. But Carl Urban, I think, could do it. But he's kind of small, so I don't know how we would make that work. But yeah, that would be awesome acting-wise. Most definitely.
Well, with that, I want to kind of go back and wrap up the show. And we were talking about initially lanterns, Green Lantern specifically. Would Henry Cavill make for a perfect Hal Jordan. And I personally think he would, because I think, again, he's about as big of a name as you can cast. He fits the description for what they're looking for. It's somebody in his 40s, a legend of the Lantern Corps. And we asked you guys in the comments, we put up a poll saying, would you want Henry Cavill as Hal Jordan in the DCU? And you said 55% yes, 45% hell no. It was more like yes with, like, so it was meant to be like a very like, or hell no, like, anyway, sorry. But basically yes, no, 55% yes, 45%.
Well, now
no.
it's 54-46. So
really? Just as I'm saying that?
yeah.
Okay, all right, 54-46. Pretty much split down the middle. I mean, you know what? I guess it goes to show you, Warner Brothers had a reason for not moving forward with Henry Cavill in the role of Superman, because. But then, okay, you know what? Now I'm gonna get in a whole other rabbit hole that I don't want to go down. Let's just say this: that if they were to cast Henry Cavill, they can't really go wrong. Although, would they be able to afford him for a TV show at a time where his price is higher than ever? But then again, Marvel might be eyeing him for the Wolverine, and DC might be like, you know what? Come back this way. You might not be, Green Superman anymore, but we would love to have you as our legendary Green Lantern. And there would be rapturous applause if he does show up in a movie. I mean, if he shows up in a TV show, that's going to go viral. So, yeah, Henry Cavill possibly playing Hal Jordan. If you were watching this live, then of course you drop your comments and let us know in the poll. But if you catch us, after we are live, then drop your comments down below. Let us know about your thoughts on Henry Cavill possibly coming back and playing maybe Hal Jordan, maybe in a different role. Maybe, do you think there's another role that he can take on? John, as always, has been great having you on the show. We'll be back tomorrow with a review of Kite Man Hell Yeah episode 8 and any other news that breaks, whether it's from Joker, Folie, Deux, whether it's from the Penguin, whether it's from the new Superman Christopher Reeve story documentary, whether it is maybe some casting news from Lantern.
Wait a minute. What about fan comments?
We did so many fan comments today. We're gonna save the 2 fan comments.
Okay,
for
we'll
tomorrow.
save them. We're
gonna save. Come back tomorrow because we have some fantastic fan comments. Just to give you an idea of what those fan comments were, Jake Hells dropped us a fan comment about James Mangold, and I think that was very interesting to talk about, and the fact that he's gonna be directing Swamp Thing, and of course, we're gonna look into more of what the Watcher, you had something to say about the Sonic trailer, so we're gonna dive into that tomorrow on not Also Curious, on DCU Daily. We're back next week with Also Curious. We're gonna be reviewing what was that movie called? Spotlight? Not Spotlight. It was some Lawrence Fishburne and Casey Affleck movie.
Slingshot.
Slingshot. Yes, it started with an S. But tomorrow we're going to be reviewing Kite Man Hell Yeah. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us, commenting. Oh, Chris Pratt as Animal Man. Wow. Mike Flanagan directing anything in the DC would be fun, quite frankly. But hey, have a good rest of your evening, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Lenny, you're joining us late into your night. It's practically like 3 a.m. for you, or 4 a.m. I don't know. Go to sleep. I don't know what your schedule's like. But yeah, if you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so that you know when we have a new episode out, and hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. And we'll see you on the next episode of DCU Daily. Until then, we'll see you next time.